the suburbs. Lit the sky with too much reverb. We're getting the band back together.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Producer's Perspective Live, TGIF, or actually just IF, because we're just glad we know what day it is during this whole thing. So welcome to the Producer's Perspective live stream. It is Friday. For those of you watching live, I know we have a ton of you watching on replay as well. Welcome to the show. Why weren't you watching live? You can't do anything. It's not like you can be anywhere else. What else are you going to do? Might as well just watch live, okay? 8 o'clock every night, except weekends. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to all of you watching the replay as well. Don't forget why we're here. We're here to bring you like big Broadway stars, like tonight's guest, Ashley Park. So what's amazing about Ashley is I met her really, I mean, I've seen her, you know, Broadway, you like walk by everybody. It's like a giant college campus, I feel like Broadway, Times Square area. Because if you leave at your office at the right time, you like run into everybody walking to their shows. So it's like, hey, you know, it's like actually smaller than most college campuses. Anyway, so I met her a few times here and there, but I actually got to spend the most time with her at the Tony nominee luncheon, because she's a fancy Tony nominee. And we were sitting there and I literally was like, I know she's talented, but this woman is just a very nice and charming woman. And if ever I have a live stream, I'm going to have her on as a guest someday. That's what I said. I swear. I don't think I told her that, so she might not remember, but we'll find out in a few minutes when we bring her on as a guest. You may know her from Mean Girls or Sunday in the Park. Oh, I got to slow these down so Mary could. Sunday in the Park. Or perhaps The King and I. Mary was not a stage manager. She is not. She is very slow on the go button, so I have to go a little slowly. Mean Girls, Sunday in the Park, King and I, bunch of shows. Also, she was set to play Millie in Thoroughly Modern Millie, which is a little bit of a sad face, but this woman is destined to play this role number one. And I'm going to try to sign up for a revival. Oh, look, we have photos. This is of her playing Millie at some point in her life, I think. But she posted some vocal rehearsal of her playing Millie on her Instagram, and it's really good. Like really good. Like I worked on the original with Sutton, and Sutton's, you know, whatever, but Ashley is really good. So go follow her on Instagram and go check that out. And if you're a fan of hers, do give us some likes and thumbs up and hearts and all those things that Mark Zuckerberg wants you to do to spread this video far and wide so we can help get more cash for the Actors Fund. And if you have questions for Ashley, go ahead and throw them in the comments. Do write question. They stand out that way so I don't look like I'm doing this too much. Today's news, so some really cool things. You know, all these Broadway folks, including me, are unemployed right now. So everyone's trying to do what they can do to keep the spirit of theater alive. And I do this live stream, and people like Ashley Park are nice enough to be on it. And then our wardrobe folk, our 764 members. 764 is the union for the wardrobe, the dressers and the stitchers and all those folks. And you know what they've been doing on their downtime? Making masks. So there's a big article about this today about how 764 members are keeping busy by making masks for all those health workers out there, which is just amazing, and another example of how generous the Broadway community is, and another example of why you should donate to the Actors Fund. Don't forget, the fun way to donate is by throwing stars at us. Yeah, I can even try to dodge them, do that kind of thing. It'll be fun. Other news, we announced today on my blog that the Godspell reunion that I did a few weeks ago now went so well that we're going to just have another reunion for another one of my shows. And this one is very poignant because it's Daddy Longlegs. We're going to do a reunion of Daddy Longlegs. We're going to bring back the actual married stars, Adam Halpin and Megan McGinnis, the authors, my partner producer, Michael Jackowitz. So a whole bunch of fancy people, and we're going to bring everyone back. And the reason why this one's interesting is because Daddy Longlegs was the first Broadway or off-Broadway show to ever be live streamed. We did it live. You'd think I'd be much better at this than I am because I had some practice, but I'm not. So anyway, we did live stream Daddy Longlegs. If you haven't seen Daddy Longlegs, go to Broadway HD You can see it there. They're doing a free trial membership, and you can catch it. And then come join me for the live stream. Mary, it's on the 21st of May. Is that correct? She's nodding at me in the wings. Broadway HD. And then come to us and watch the reunion where we bring everybody back. We once again get that band back together right here on the 21st. If you go get the recording, I mean, hearing Megan McGinnis do Secret of Happiness is like, it just is like buckets of tears. But forget the buckets of tears. We're going to have some fun right now. Oh, look, some Daddy Long Legs love. We're going to have some fun right now. Let's bring on tonight's guest, the super talented and the best person to sit next to you at a Tony nominee lunch you could. I mean, if you get to choose your person when you're all nominated for Tonys, I hope it's Ashley Park. Bring on Ashley. Hi.
Oh my God, I've been laughing at myself here. And your whole, first of all, that theme song just makes you smile all over the place. And then this whole time, I forgot that it was the luncheon. You were right.
Yeah. And literally, it was a very big bonding moment because you're all like, everyone's nervous and you're, you know, it's like, oh, Tony nominee luncheon. You're sitting with all these famous people. And I turned to you and it was like I had known you for like 10 years. You were like, hey, what's happening?
Well, I knew who you are. So I was like, oh my God, yes, Ken Downpark. Great. Okay, who else is at this table? I was like,
did we have Nathan Lane at our table? Is that right?
We did. We had a fun table, but it was so funny about that luncheon is they really take like one person from like nobody from the same show, nobody in the same category, just like it is like all. So you do get to know a lot of different people.
It was like, it's a crazy Broadway speed date.
Yeah.
Like very bizarre.
How to talk. I know.
I'm trying to remember who else. Wait, who was I sitting next to? I'm sitting Amy Schumer.
We had a lighting person too. Oh my gosh, I remember this.
It was crazy. Anyway, how have you been?
I've been good. I'm good.
You're safe, healthy?
Huh? Yes, healthy. Yes, I'm with my parents and my sister.
Where, in the city or where are you?
In San Antonio, Texas.
In San Antonio, Texas?
Yeah.
Where you already can go bowling and stuff, right? Like it's open up there.
I guess so. We're kind of still staying. I mean, I don't think so, you know, but I mean, what's nice is that like I can go outside and we're already social distance because everyone's so far apart, you know? So that's been nice.
So where were you, as I've been asking everyone, where were you when the virus hit the fan? Like what was happening when you were like, oh, snap, this is real. Something's happening.
Yeah. Well, the crazy part was, I was we had just closed Grand Horizons on Broadway the week before. And so I think everything shut down. The last day was Wednesday, right, of all the shows. So that Tuesday, I actually flew into San Antonio because I had a couple weeks before we started Millie rehearsals. So I was on my way to LA to do a bunch of like meetings and see friends and stuff like that. I had a little carry-on and I stopped by here on the way and I just never left. I landed and then like a couple hours later, Broadway shut down and we were like, okay, I guess I'm staying here. And I've stayed since. And I think the last thing I did in the city, a couple things was that Sunday was Kate Rockwell's and like great, like their last show and Mean Girls. So we had like a spa day on that Monday. And like now that we thought about the other day, we're like, wow, if the virus is really all over the place, going to the spa was probably the worst idea. And then that evening I had Alicia Umfris's birthday dinner and I saw like her, Frank DeLella, Brandon Uranowitz, Zachary Print, like all of us were just like giddy and glick. We were like, oh, I guess should we get canned food? Like we didn't really, you know, and then that was the last thing. That was the last time I saw friends.
Thank God. And no one in that group obviously was sick because it would just taken one of you and then whoosh.
Exactly. I think so. Yeah, it was before all of it. And we were all being everyone had their sanitizers. And Brandon and Zach were like, guys, everyone go to get. So I think I went to like Rite Aid that night and got like Chef Boyardee just in case. I don't know. I was like, so I got really scared after they were talking to me about that stuff. But yeah.
So get some SpaghettiOs if you're scared.
How about you? I should know this already, but you're in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm here hunkered down on the Upper West Side and have been the whole time. So in the heart of it, it's weird here in the city, of course.
Sure, yeah.
It's starting to loosen up a little bit, though. People are starting to feel a little bit better. You can see
warmer weather helps too, right?
Yeah, although it's like, as you can see, it's like sweater weather today. It's like freezing cold. It's like in the 40s and rain, so it's like no fun.
I know. I feel like I've only seen you at like openings and functions and stuff, and we're always like in this like a dress and a suit. It's so fun to see you in like your den.
I'm hiding my Corona cut. Speaking of Kate Rockwell, Kate, gave her husband a cut. So my wife and I were like, oh, we can do this too.
No.
It did not go out.
Oh my gosh. Well, you should try to dye it like a fun color. Like, when else are you going to do that, Ken?
We'll see. I'll reveal it in a week. I've been telling people I'll reveal it in a week or so. So you were, this is like the tragic, one of the tragedies of this is you were set to play Millie, which is something you were dying to do, right?
Absolutely. It's been something I'm looking forward. That picture was actually from high school, the one that you showed. That's so funny. Of course I was excited, especially because Lear and Dick and Janine and me and Lauren and we'd all started working on it, and just to work with like Camille Brown, she did Once on This Island, right? Just like so like the prep was already so fun, like casting of it was so fun, and so I think I'm actually the person I called Lear like the first week of the quarantine. I was like, I think we should, I think this is going to be like, I think we're going to have to postpone, aren't we? So I kind of was like front footed in terms of like not being sad about it. And like, honestly, the truth of it, I'll be candid with you. When I posted that thing that you were talking about on Instagram, that whole day, I was like, May 6th, because I'm not on, like, I was like, whose birthday is it? Like, all my friends are Leo's, like, May 6th. Why is that in my head for some reason? So I kept on trying to figure out whose birthday it was. And I realized, oh my God, it's because it was supposed to be opening night of Millie. And so, I shared that because we had it officially started rehearsals, but Rob was just sweet enough to be like, hey, come between your matinee and your night show, Grand Horizons, and then we'll just run through the whole score. And so, so we did. So I happened to take little clips of that and so on to share. But it's honestly, I've been teaching these lessons, like with kids, like at least like 5 on average, 5 a day, and and they're short lessons, but I wanted to make them affordable for kids because I've just never had the time to do that. And what's fun is that like I've been donating all the money, like as you're donating your time right now too, to the Actors Fund and Broadway Cares. But like it was just truly like that has been seeing them sing these kinds of songs and stuff. I just remembered, I was like, of course, I wanted to do Millie because of that in their eyes and seeing it so up close. And I'm grateful for this time to 8 shows a week is hard. I would have gotten through doing Millie, but now I'm excited. Like I do feel that it will happen at some time in some way. And like, I'm so excited to be like even more ready. Like Millie's going to be like, I'm in Manhattan and we are doing this.
All these shows set in New York City when this thing opens back up again. It's going to be something.
Yeah. You think about like Company too, like just so many, shows that like the part of the character of the show is the city of New York, right? You're just
it could be the most tragic show of all, and people would be jumping to their feet like when the curtain goes up. You can like King Lear. People are just like, I'm so excited.
The idea of like thinking of so many shows, like at any point in the show, there's something about like gathering or like togetherness or like missing something or something like that. And like, I just feel like even shows that have been running forever, like what is a show like The Lion King going to feel like when you watch it? Or like things about people feeling alone and stuff like that. You're just like, oh my God, it's going to ring so differently.
For sure. So tell me like besides teaching, what else are you doing to fill your days as we wait for the lights to come back on again?
Yeah. What I love about our community too is like everybody, is so like creative and so like, okay, these are the parameters, let's do it, And so I've been doing a lot, like I did like Dracula, the second episode of that podcast. So like so many projects, and it's been funny, like for like a social person, like I have loved having this like recuperating like alone time too, but like I feel like I spend like 18 hours a day on Zoom. And so I've been like, okay, I gotta also spend time. I'm spending time with my family, like doing things I think I have them here. Hold on. I've like really got into watercoloring.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Send me your address. Don't put it here, but and like, I like just got into like succulents and stuff. Wait, where's the camera?
This is amazing.
Like this, or like send me a picture. I'll like send you. I'm like obsessed with these. So I think I'm going to start like sending cards to people.
You should throw them up on Etsy. I mean, those are beautiful.
Right. Also, well, some of them are not. Like this one is not it. What is that? Ken, what is that?
I don't know. That's like a strange turkey that's
Strange
like
turkey
you live near a radioactive plant or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But so like that kind of stuff, yeah.
Did you watercolor before, or is this like a new thing that you just picked up?
No, it's a new hobby. And I'm actually, well, because I was here, and usually when I'm home in my apartment at home, I at least have like a guitar and a piano. So I'd be like there all day, every day, you know? But I'm here and there's nothing here. Like people know, I ordered a flute on Amazon. I haven't touched it though. It was just like in a panic of like, I need something musical. A flute is small.
Why the flute?
Because it's small, but like it's really hard to play. Like I can't play it.
You picked the instrument that you wanted to play just because of the size of it.
Yeah, because I have to take it back home. I have to take it back to New York eventually, if we ever allow it back, you know?
That is hysterical.
Yeah, and stuff like this, you know, like talking to people, catching up and stuff like that, which has been good.
How have you done any Zoom readings, any of that stuff? Have you?
I have.
Yeah.
How has
that been for you, working virtually like that?
It's interesting, you know. Some of them have been readings that, you know, the most interesting one. I did one. It was a 4-person play, and it was with 3 other actors. All of us had never met before, but I knew of all of them, and we all knew of each other. And we used Zoom panel for the first time. I hadn't used that, where it's like everybody who came to watch it, we can't see any of them, but like you can like go, you can kind of do a little bit of blocking, you know, like how you would like raise the stand and lower it, like with it. But what was really sweet about it is like, even after, it was only like a 2-day reading, and after we did the reading and everyone, we were all just like, oh my God, I feel like I know you, because like, you know, which is so crazy because we've never met in person. And like it was, I don't know, it was its own kind of medium, because it was like, it kind of like how doing a reading, like I'm sure you see bazillions of them every year, like in those rehearsal rooms, there's a kind of magic to the fact that there's a charm to the fact that we all, like, you're all in chairs and we're all watching this thing, and you're speaking louder than maybe you would in that scene if we were doing it full out. You know, there's a sense of imagination to it. So I feel like it was cool because we are all familiar with screen acting too. So like knowing the medium of like kind of being able to use the screen a little bit, but also like not being able to like use each other. We would pass props like this, and then the other person would get it like this.
Wow.
Just a couple times, but like, you know, but like
that's advanced. You're a pro, obviously.
It was also a little bit, it was sad in a way, you know, because like after readings usually, or like something like that, you would all like go like get a drink together and like commence about it and stuff like that. And like it's so nice right now. I'm thinking like personally that like there are so many ways that people are finding to connect and stuff, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is the transition the other way going to be like, you know? So it's interesting.
And you've done now, we know you a lot from musicals, but it sounds like, I mean, Grand Horizons and now this play, you're doing more plays. Do you like doing the plays more than the musicals? Do you have an affinity, or?
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, Grand Horizons was my first play when we did it at Williamstown. I loved it. And it probably was because I was with amazing people and led by like Lee and Bess, and like, they're just wonderful. But like, I absolutely love doing a play, and not for the, you know, people had always said like, oh my God, plays are so much better because like you don't have to worry about the singing, and like you don't have to wake up every day and be like, can I do my job? And in some ways it was easier, like physically, in terms of like what you had to be anxious about, but in other ways it felt like almost I was using a different part of my brain academically, but like not that musical theater doesn't do that, you know. And I'm honestly so excited to do a musical, having found so much freedom in myself as an actor in a play, you know, and approaching it in the same kind of way.
Here's a question from Lorelei. What do you do after an 8-show week to relax? So speaking of how grueling it may be to be in musicals, what do you do on your downtime besides paint watercolors or not play the flute?
Oh yeah. Well, during an 8-show week, usually, you know, it's crazy only having one day off. And what I've gotten better about since I like, especially during the play, is like really using my day off to do the things I need to do, like laundry and like like sleep and stuff like that. But I will say during Mean Girls and like other shows, like I use that as my social day too, and I try not to make it like work seven, like for 7 shows and then like relax only on one day. Like I think you still feel the most sustained when you're taking care of yourself throughout the week. But that's usually, yeah.
We had Kate Rockwell on, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, but that Mean Girls cast seems, for some reason, it just seems to be like such the closest group of people that would have such fun together. Is that true? Like, were you guys
how I describe it is like, it's like you got to go back to high school, but you weren't all in high school, So like it did feel, what was fun about it is I do think that like Lorne Michaels and Tina Fey are so magical in that they really, they know how to mentor people and like pick people. And we are all kind of in the same parts of our lives in a way, even like including the ensemble, everybody. And we are all like coming into this thing together a little bit. So no matter what, like, there, you get very, very close. And in a way that was, and it was the first show that I'd done with peers. Like if you think of like King and I Sunday in the Park with George, and and they, I was always the youngest, but they like, and I love each cast like so dearly, like truly like family. And this one was Mean Girls it was a specific other kind of feeling too. But yeah, we are so close. I mean, when you live in that kind of close proximity and are doing that kind of show, it's just like, yeah.
And I just thought of this, not only were you the youngest, but the diversity of those types of shows. You're talking about classics, right? You're talking about Sunny in the Park, King and I, and then you go to a very contemporary pop score and pop genre as well. Where did you go to school?
University of Michigan.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
You're one of those.
Oh man, yeah, that Michigan Mafia, yeah.
Tell me why. I mean, Michigan. For those of you watching, Michigan has an unbelievable musical theater program, and they do call it the Michigan Mafia. They spit so many people out that end up playing several leads on Broadway. Why is that school so good? Like, what is it about it?
I think it's good for the reasons that I wanted to go there, which is that like the chair of the department and who has changed since, Brent Wagner, like I think it's because really they focus on being like a kind and smart person just as much as being a talented person. And I'm not saying that other universities don't do that, but it's just something that I like really felt when I like went there. And I was also raised in Ann Arbor. So, but it's been interesting, like especially in like getting to teach lessons and stuff like that. And also in talking to kids as they're trying to audition for colleges at this time and like all of that stuff and prepping kids in that way. I'm like reevaluating what, like my college experience and what I took away from that campus and stuff like that. And I'm really, really grateful for those kinds of life lessons. And also like really putting, in terms of like musical theater, like whenever you're singing a song, it's always to another person. It's always active. You're never like the soloist on set, and I feel like that kind of work. And also there's so many people who go into different parts of the business too. If they only turned out actors, like that wouldn't be, we have like casting directors and writers and producers, from there too. So that's why it's very much a family that you kind of graduate into in New York, which is nice.
So tell me a little bit more about you teaching. How did you fall into this? Like how did it start? And
well, I think when the shutdown first started, I was like, I spent the first couple of weeks just being like, okay, let me just take this time with my family. I don't really know what's happening right now. There's just everything is, and I think opportunities arose to like make money in certain ways, like you're making videos and like you're doing lessons for profit, which is like totally fine. But at the time, still, I had a job lined up, and I just felt having just closed a show too. I felt so horribly for the shows that like didn't get a closing, like didn't know the last show, for my friends with shows that were supposed to happen that were already canceled. And like that to me, like closing nights of shows are like, I don't know why I do another open night, because it's devastating for me every time, You get so attached. And so I just felt so badly. And I was like, what could I do? Like, I'm not like a super, like, I don't have $1 million to give either. What can I do? And I knew that the Broadway Cares, they are having that amazing fund that so many of the producers are like doubling, So I was like, instead of making people pay for me to like send them a video or something, I personally love to just like connect and like teach and like feel like I'm giving them something as well. So I kind of made it like, what if they pay me for lessons and I donate all the money, so we're donating together, and like I get to connect and meet with kids, especially because I felt so badly that so many kids were getting stuff, and so in a sense I was honestly like, I was like, okay, if Millie's going to be postponed and canceled, that's okay, because now I also have I was also lost something that was probably the most exciting job that I've had in here, like something I was so excited for so many reasons. And if like I can be positive about it, then like maybe like it'll be easier for like all these high schoolers and stuff to be too. Otherwise, if I still got to do my thing, it'd be like, well, actually be quiet. You get to do your, so I kind of just fell into that, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like I'm so not I was like, I'm going to create another Instagram and like just DM me. And I was like, I don't know how do I schedule these lessons? So I actually had some like people donate their time, and one girl, her name is Eunice, and she was like, I live in Jersey and I like am good at tech stuff. I'm not a singer, but I'd love to set up like a website for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, please. So people have just been so lovely, and it's been so great. Yeah.
What I love about what you did is, and I forget who it was, this happened with several of the folks I've had on. They've been like, I didn't know what to do, and I just did it, and it's now working, and now you're giving money back to Broadway Cares and all that, and it's just fantastic. So let's, there may be some actors watching, performers watching tonight. I just looked at the screen actually, and I just realized that I look very short. Like I'm sitting, like I don't know what, I'm like those old Tim Conway, like dwarf on, hey, so I just.
Also, like I love that your painting matches your hat.
I need to like sit like up, I guess. Okay.
No.
Mary, what the? How could you not tell me how short I look?
Wait, you had Rob McClure on earlier this week, right? Those things are beyond. They're beyond. If you ever want, like, I was like, I told him, I was like, I feel seen by these, and I'm not even a conductor. It's just so good. Anyways, it just reminded me of that because you went like this, and I was like, oh, looks like.
Yeah, he had a good one today.
Yeah.
Did you watch it today?
Yeah. Oh, I haven't watched it.
You gotta watch. Wait for it. That's all I got to say about it. We're talking about Rob McClure's Instagram, everybody. His conductor cam. Go check it out. But anyway,
loving that stuff. Just things.
Rob had his 30 minutes. Let's get back to you.
Okay.
So, Ashley,
yes.
I was wondering, what is you've auditioned for a ton of shows, right? And you get some, and unfortunately, you don't get others. What's your biggest tip? If you could only give all the performers out there one tip on how to nail more auditions, what would it be?
Can I get like 1.5? Well, like the first thing that's not a tip that like is just an obvious is like be as prepared. Like I think our goal is to make ourselves as comfortable as possible in the room and make everyone else as comfortable as possible too, right? But so be prepared. That is just a given. But I think for me, what I realized is as soon as I stopped thinking of it as I think when I started thinking of an audition as part of the process in the workspace, so instead of it being like, I have to show them that I can do this part right, and like, I would think of it as this is my 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 minutes of an opportunity to like just be this character for this. This is the time that I get to be it. And if this is the last time I get to be the character, then that's what it was. I got to do it for those people. And if not, then so thinking it as both a performance, but also as just a process and not a product at all. And I also I think that it's helpful just not to take it if you just, I don't know, if I think about the character more than I'm thinking about myself, then it always makes me feel better after the audition, even if it doesn't go my way, Yeah.
I can see why people are giving you money to give to. That's a great tip. It's a great tip.
I mean, sometimes I wish I could take my own advice, but
Taylor Penny asks, what is another popular movie that you'd want to see turn into a musical? And I'm going to add, with a role that you'd like to play.
Oh.
Any movies, any of like your favorite movies with a role that you'd like to play? Like E.T. I mean, you could be E.T. I don't know.
I literally just thought of this and I'm completely blanking. Oh my God, what would yours be? What movie would you want to turn? Then maybe it'll give me an idea.
I've tried. They this is my job. Vacation, because I'm turning making Broadway Vacation. Joy, I'm doing musical. That's what I do. I'm just trying to steal an idea from you and then come back and be like, Ashley, I have an idea. Would you like
an idea? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wait, that's such a good question. I really want to answer because like, why would I not answer this, especially to a Broadway producer right now?
Well, I'll tell you what. I will. You just put it on your Instagram or DM me or something, and we'll
okay. Or maybe it'll come to me as we're doing this. But actually, you know what? This is so dumb, but this is not my answer. But you know, like those old, like Kiki's Delivery Service.
No.
Like it's like the Studio Ghibli. Like they're like cartoons.
Yeah.
Cartoons. I mean, I feel like I always like love those type of characters, like too, like a fantastical kind of one. I don't know to think about. Or like if Sex and the City was turned into a musical.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, like that kind of thing.
I'll call SJP when we're done here. We'll work it out.
Yeah, will you please?
Okay. Hold on. Actually, just give me 1 second.
Yeah. Or Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels.
That would be fun.
Very good. Well, listen, one more question before we go. This is obviously a tough time for a lot of folks out there, and you found ways to keep yourself up and positive, even when you were faced with the loss of something that you really wanted to do. Any tips for everyone watching out there just to get through this and keep that smile on their face?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing as I would give in terms of even just like, how do you deal with like being in this business too, you know? Like, I think that, and we can do it short-term wise and long-term wise. Like a trick that I do is like, when I'm like stressed about something or I'm like, this is like such sad news or whatever, I literally like look at my phone. I'm like, okay, May 8th. What was May 8th last year? What was I doing? What was I so stressed about? What was I like, who was I like not getting along? Like anything like that. And like, do I feel that same way right now? And it's always no. Like, it doesn't feel good right now. And like for right now, I've been doing like literally 2 months ago, or even 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, like what was like the thing that was like weighing on me the most. And like, it's changed like every day. And like, I just think the more that we get on the other side of little humps, the more that like taking on the big humps, it's so, I think this is such a fluke for all of us. I feel like for you, I'm sure you know, everyone in your life, it's almost like a sick joke. It's like, oh my God, this was the thing that was taken away from me. Like, this was the thing, this was the time. So like when flukes like that happen, it's just like, you have no other way to get through it, but just, it was so meant to be. And like, it's just going to be so much better on the other side. Like, we really are going to get there. So
that, I got to be honest, that is some of the most brilliant advice I have heard. I mean, it's so true to think, like, it's easy to say, oh yeah, one day you're going to forget about this, but to literally look back and say, a year ago, where was I? Look in your calendar. And this already, like 2 weeks ago, I would walk down the street of New York and I would feel a lot more anxious than I did today when I had to go to the grocery, just starting already to feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, what a great tip.
My pictures and stuff too. Like, that's why I love my Instagrams, because sometimes I'll just be like, what was I doing? Oh, my scrapbook. Like, I can't even remember this. You know what I'm saying? Or like, that's why.
Great tip. Everyone go back to your Instagrams or your Facebook and look at where you were a year ago and just realize that it's all gonna be okay. Someday we will all look back at this and be like, remember that crazy pandemic? That was weird.
That's so crazy, yeah.
Thank you so much for that great tip. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks for
doing this. How wonderful. Like a Broadway producer doing this, and like so wonderful to talk to you.
Oh, it's likewise. I look forward to sharing another luncheon with you. Hopefully a Tony nominee luncheon for both of us.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Have a great time out there. Stay safe.
Bye.
I mean, can you see why that luncheon was like, I was like, I don't even care about the Tony stuff. I'm sitting there. I did care about the Tony stuff. I mean, I did. Let's face it. But it was a treat. As you can say, I hope that was a treat for you. Some of you had some ideas. Coming to America would be a fantastic movie. So awesome. That's a good one. It's one of my favorite movies. There's a Coming to America 2, I think, coming out now, right? Good. Oh, look, Charlotte, thanks, Ashley, for the great advice. Super fun stuff. So thank her and thank all of you for joining. We will wrap up now. Just a few more things. Don't forget, if you missed any of tonight, you can go back and watch Ashley all over again. That's right. Or you can watch Rob McClure from a couple nights ago, Julie Halston from last night, all of the folks that we've had, you can watch them. So go check it out. I've lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought because in the comments, there's another Ken Davenport watching. It's freaked me out. This is like, I don't know what to do about this. I literally was like, I know, this is my sign off. I know what to do. And then all of a sudden I look over there and there's another Ken Davenport and I'm freaked out. It's like a strange episode of The Matrix or some weird thing. I think I may know this one. If this is the web designer from Seattle, maybe throw me a comment. Anyway, this is what happens during a pandemic. People with your same name were brought together. Don't forget about the Actors Fund, everybody. And don't forget about the Daddy Longlegs reunion coming up on the 21st of May, where I'm bringing that whole crew back. Look at that. Look at those folks. We're going to have some fun. Go watch it. Sign up for that free membership on Broadway HD. And here's a secret. When it's done, when you're done with it, cancel it. Just cancel the membership. It's free. And you get to watch Daddy Longlegs and everything else you can stream. So something in the spirit of Daddy Longlegs, tonight's something to make you smile. Oh, it's so timely. Look at how it all comes together. I wish I could say I planned this. But the University of Michigan, remember when we were talking about that with Miss Ashley Park? The University of Michigan musical theater program covered that big song from Daddy Longlegs, The Secret of Happiness. It's one of the sweetest, sweetest songs from the show. Go check it out at theproducersperspective.com/smile. It will have you smile. It may have you shed a tear because they covered it in all the crazy social distancing ways we need to do. That's it for us tonight. Go watch that video. Thanks to Ashley. Tomorrow night, nope, not true. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, date night. We're all going. No, we're not going out. Monday night, Santino Fontana, Tony Award winner Santino Fontana from Tootsie, Cinderella, a whole bunch of shows. We're going to have a good time with him. Maybe he watercolors. I don't know. I've never sat down with him at a luncheon, but we're going to sit down on Monday night. I'm just going to sit a little higher on Monday, I decided. Just a little bit higher. Good night, everybody.